Okay, good morning once again. Okay, what is being presented to you was the quiz that I gave 2 years ago to my grade 8 students who are now in grade 10. So, this quiz was actually given before we discussed anything about radicals. Okay, this was actually a sort of review from the competencies that they were able to learn the year before they took intermediate algebra. It must be noted that the year before you would have to take intermediate algebra, you would have to take first elementary algebra. So these competencies on laws of exponents would be tackled during elementary algebra. Okay. Instruction: choose the letter of the correct answer. Write your answer on the space provided for each number. Provide the correct answer if it is not among the choices. Okay, let's go to number 1. By the way, this already encompasses all the laws of exponents. What is the product of 3x to the power of 4 and 2x squared? Okay, what does the law on exponents says? When you multiply expressions with the same basis, you simply add their exponents, while the numerical coefficients will be multiplied. So in this case, the numerical coefficients, which are 3 and 2, these two numbers, 3 and 2, should be multiplied. So 3 multiplied by 2 would be 6. That excludes now the choices letters A and D, since the numerical coefficients for choices A and D are 5. Diba? So we are left with two choices, B and C. So when you multiply expressions with the same basis, you simply add their exponents. So the exponents are 4 and 2 respectively. The sum of 4 and 2 is 6. Therefore, the product of 3x to the power of 4 and 2x squared would be 6x to the power of 6. Meaning to say, the correct answer is letter B. We proceed. Number 2. The square of x to the power of 4 is multiplied to 2x squared. Again, the square of x to the power of 4 is multiplied to 2x squared. The square of x to the power of 4 is actually from the law of exponent, say, x to the power of m raised to the power of n is equal to x to the power of m times n. So in this case, the square of x to the power of 4 would be x to the power of 8. Again, this is x to the power of 8 multiplied to 2x squared. So x to the power of 8 times 2x squared would be 2x to the power of 10. The exponent 10 is obtained by adding the exponents 8 and 2. So you have 2x to the power of 10. Letter A. Number 3. The cube of 2x squared y. Okay, what is the cube of 2x squared y? The cube of 2x squared y would be equal to 2 cube x to the power of 6 y cube. That means that you simply have to multiply the exponents of 2x and y, which are 1, 2, and 1 respectively, by the exponent 3. So 1, which is the exponent of 2, is multiplied by 3, that makes the exponent of 2 now equal to 3. The exponent of x, which is 2, when multiplied by 3, will be 6. While y, whose exponent is 1, will be y cubed in the result. 2 cubed means multiplying 2 by itself 3 times. Therefore, the correct answer should be 8x to the power of 6 y cubed, since 2 cubed is equal to 8. 2 times 2 is equal to 4 times 2 is equal to 8. So 8x to the power of 6 y cubed. Letter B. Number 4. Find the quotient of 20x cubed y to the power of 5 and 5x to the power of 4 y squared. For the numerical coefficients, you simply divide them. So in this case, 20 divided by 5 would be equal to 4. Now, a while ago, I did mention that when you multiply expressions with the same bases, you simply add their exponents. In this case, when you divide expressions with the same bases, you simply subtract their exponents. The expressions are x cubed and x to the power of 4. They are to be divided. That means to say that their exponents must be subtracted. Now take note that the exponent of x in the denominator is larger than the exponent of x in the numerator. Meaning to say, the result should bear the variable x to be written in the denominator with exponent which is positive 1. Positive 1 being the difference of 4 and 3. On the other hand, dividing y to the power of 5 and y squared will result to y cubed. That is getting the difference of 5 and 2 as the exponent. So the exponent of y in the answer should be 3, read as cube. Therefore, 20x cubed y to the power of 5 divided by 5x to the power of 4 y squared will be equal to 4y cubed over x. Again, it's 4y cubed over x. 4 is obtained by dividing 20 and 5 as the numerical coefficients. Y cubed is obtained by dividing y to the power of 5 and y squared. So 3 as the exponent of y is obtained by subtracting the exponents 5 and 2. While the exponent of x, which is 1, is obtained by subtracting the exponents 4 and 3. So the correct answer should be letter B. Okay, number 5. You find the cube of the quotient of 2x squared y and 4xy cubed. There are actually two ways on how to do this one. Okay, the first option that you can take will be to simplify first 2x squared y and 4xy cubed. Okay, the operation that must be done to the two expressions is division. So dividing 2x squared y by 4xy cubed would result to x over 2y squared cubed. Okay. X is written in the numerator since the exponent of x in the numerator, which is 2, is larger than the exponent of x in the denominator, which is 1. So 2 minus 1 is equal to 1, which is now the exponent of x in the numerator. On the other hand, y squared is written in the denominator because the exponent of y in the denominator, which is 3, is larger than the exponent of y in the numerator, which is 1. So 3 minus 1 is equal to 2. while 2 divided by 4 is equal to 1/2. Okay, hence, the numerical coefficient, which is 2, is written in the denominator. Okay, so the cube of x over 2y squared would be x cubed 8y to the power of 6. Okay, that's x cubed 8y to the power of 6. Since the cube of 2 is 8, the cube of y squared is equal to y to the power of 6. Well, x cube is x cube. So you have x cube over 8y to the power of 6. That's letter B. Another option that you can take is to get the cube of the numerator and the denominator first. Okay. So rewriting, let me use this portion. Rewriting the expression 2x squared y over 4xy cube. So that would mean 8x to the power of 6 y cube over 64 x cube y to the power of 9. Okay, how do you obtain those values or those numbers? 8 is obtained by getting the cube of 2, which is 3. So 2 cube is equal to 8. X squared cube, or the cube of x squared, would be x to the power of 6. Then copy y cubed. The exponent of y in the numerator becomes 3 because the exponent of y in the given is 1. To be multiplied by 3, that would be 3. On the other hand, sa denominator, 4 cubed is equal to 64. Since 4 times 4 is equal to 16, diba? 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is equal to 64. X cubed y to the power of 9. And then, apply the fourth law of exponents. So, in this case, 8 divided by 64 is 1 over 8. So, 8 must be written in the denominator. So, naay 1 din ha, pero dili na mo na kinahanglan i-sulat. Okay. While x to the power of 6 divided by x cubed would be x cubed. Y cubed over y to the power of 9 is 1 over y to the power of 6. So that's kanang y to the power of 6 must be written in the denominator. So that's x cubed x cubed over 8y to the power of 6, which is actually the same answer that we obtained a while ago, letter B. Number 6, 2x to the power of negative 3. So the exponent is negative. But the negative exponent, which is negative 3, will not affect the numerical coefficient, which is 2. So 2 remains in the numerator in the final answer. The rule says that when you raise x to the power of negative n, it will be equal to 1 over x to the power of n. Again, x to the power of negative n would be equal to 1 over x to the power of n. For instance, if you have x to the power of negative 3, that would be 1 over x cubed. Kanang 1 over x cubed, when multiplied to 2, would be 2 over x cubed, which is letter A. Okay. I hope that is clear. On the other hand, ang number 7, which is the quantity of 5x to the power of negative 2, is actually different from the previous exercise, kaning 2x to the power of negative 3. In this case, the numerical coefficient, which is 5, would be affected by the negative exponent, negative 2. Now, take note that the rule says x to the power of negative n would be 1 over x to the power of n. In this case, the base, which is x, is 5x, the entire 5x. For instance, this would be equal to 1 over the quantity of 5x squared. And the square of 5x will be 25x squared. That means that the answer should be letter C. Number 8. 8x cubed y to the power of 6 raised to the power of 1/3. Okay. 8x cubed y to the power of 6 raised to the power of 1/3. Kung sa ganito, you simply have to multiply the exponents of 8x and y with the exponent, with the outer exponent, which is 1/3. So the exponent of 8, which is 1, is to be multiplied by 1/3. So that means you have 8 to the power of 1/3 x y squared. The exponent of x is now equal to 1 since 3 times 1/3 would be equal to 1. 3 and 1/3 when multiplied will result to 1 since 3 and 1/3 are inverses of each other. Diba? The inverse property for multiplication states that when you multiply a number by its reciprocal, the product would be positive 1. The number 3 is actually the reciprocal of the other number 1/3. So 3 and 1/3 are reciprocals of each other that when multiplied will result to 1 as the exponent of x. On the other hand, 6 multiplied by 1/3 would be 2. Since 6 times 1 is 6 divided by 3 is equal to 2. Okay. Now, 8 to the power of 1/3 x to the power xy squared is not yet the final answer since 8 may be written as 2 cubed. Diba? 8 is multiplying 2 by itself 3 times to the power of 1/3 xy squared. When you multiply 3 and 1/3, again, 3 and 1/3 are reciprocals of each other, the result or the product would be 1. Therefore, the exponent of 2 would be 1. So the final answer must be 2xy squared. 2xy squared, which is letter B. Okay, number 9. I hope you're able to follow. Number 9. Find the product of 3x to the power of negative 4 and 4x squared. So you simply have to multiply the numerical coefficients 3 and 4. So that's 3 multiplied by 4 is 12. Okay, that means that we have to take out letter B as one of the possible answers. Okay. The product of x to the power of negative 4 and x squared would be x to the power of negative 2. Okay. Since multiplying expressions with the same bases will then mean adding their exponents. So, the answer would be 12x to the power of negative 2. But since 12x to the power of negative 2 is not yet a final answer, you have to take the reciprocal of x to the power of negative 2 to make the exponent positive. So, that's 12 over x squared. Letter A. In the same manner, nga kanang number 6, that's 2x to the power of negative 3. So that's 2 over x cubed. So kanang 12x to the power of negative 2, that's 12 over x squared. Number 10. Number 10 actually involves scientific notation. So when you divide numbers written in scientific notation, it will just follow the same rule as when you are dividing expressions with the same basis. So 45 times 10 to the power of 12 divided by 3 times 10 to the power of 7. The answer would be 15 times 10 to the power of 5. 15 times 10 to the power of 5. 15 is obtained by dividing 45 and 3, while 5 is obtained by subtracting 12 and 7. But wait, there's more. Like what they say, take note that 15 is greater than 10. So the decimal point for the number 15 is after 5. So you have to move the decimal point from right to left once so that this will become 1.5. So times 10 to the power of 6. Okay. That's letter D. Next, number 11. 3 times 10 to the power of 7 multiplied by 5 times 10 to the power of negative 3. So that means 15 times 10 to the power of 4. So 15 times 10 to the power of 4 is not yet the final answer. Dapat kani nga number dire must be greater than 1 but less than 10. Okay. So you have to move the decimal point again from right to left once. So the answer must be 1.5 times 10 to the power of 5. As you move the decimal point from right to left, you will have to add the exponent by the number of times you have moved the decimal point from right to left. Since the exponent of 10, which is 4, the exponent of 10 is 4, therefore in the answer it should be 1.5 times 10 to the power of 5, adding the exponent of 4, adding 4 by 1, adding the exponent of 10 which is 4 by 1, again adding the exponent of 10 which is 4 by 1. So that's 1.5 times 10 to the power of 5, letter B.